Back another week, the Doctor Stoppage, hunting out your 5 best picks of the upcoming fight card. This weekend we got Fight Night, Vieira versus Miesha Tate. Neel coming in with his 5 strongest picks too. I'll start the show off with my 5th, my least confident pick of these 5. But coming in hot with the Rani Yahya and the, I'm going to butcher his last name, Kyung Ho Kang. The fight to not go the distance. Rani Yahya is going to have, I think, a big advantage on the ground. Kang's usually a grappling-based guy, but when he gets put on his back or is up against another grappler, doesn't fare the best. He's been given 3 striking matchups in the last 3 fights in the UFC. But I think he has a lot better chance on the feet than Rani Yahya. Yahya has been known to historically gas hard in the second half of the fight. I think both these guys have a lot of roots to success after a lot of split decision wins with the Kyung Ho Kang. I think he might get a stoppage on the feet with a tired Rani Yahya in the 3rd round. But I also more than that, I see Rani Yahya being able to get a submission. But overall thought is that Rani Yahya, they're both getting older, but has been showing less cardio in the later rounds if he can't get you down, and his jiu-jitsu is just so goddamn good. But Kang's a dude who will just stand in the pocket, will throw super hard even though he's not the best striker. Is definitely a dangerous dude to be standing with, especially if you're tired in Rani Yahya in the last couple rounds. So my bet is that fight does not go the distance at plus 100. Yeah, what do you think about that?
That's actually a great one, man. When I was looking at Rani Yahya, the first thing I noticed was his gas tank. Like in the first round, he's really good, and then he just gassed his hard. So definitely Kang has the advantages in round 2 and 3, but Yahya's submissions are so nice. They're just so nice. If Kang gets him down, Yahya is gonna submit him. But I think if he makes it past round 1, makes it to the middle of round 2, Kang's going to have that advantage. So I think this is a nice option to live bet as well. So if you see Yahya win in the first round, making it to the second, and then struggling in the second, you just live bet Kang right there. I think you can make a good profit right there. And I also agree with inside the distance because I don't think Yahya will make it through round 3.
And I think it's important to know too. You go deeper into his career. You know, he does have a good amount of round 3 victories or decision victories. But that was literally like 6-7 years ago at this point when you look at some of them. And I think you look at the last 2 fights he's had, 3 fights really with the Ricky Simone and Enrique Barzola. I think if you're gonna come out and he can't submit you early, I think this older version, like you said, it's gonna struggle in the later rounds.
Yeah. My number 5 was actually I picked the main event over here. So I've got Miesha Tate moneyline as my least favorite pick of the night.
Interesting.
So my thought behind this was basically Ketlen Vieira. I looked at her last 2 fights. She lost against Yana, and she beat Sijara Eubanks. So in the Sijara Eubanks fight, I expected Sijara to actually gas out, like in round 2, early round 3. But like it was Ketlen on the other hand who gassed out in round 2, round 3, like towards the end of round 2, and Sijara actually won round 3. So I'm seeing Ketlen doing better than Miesha on the ground. She can hold her down for around maybe like 10 minutes. But when it comes to round 3, round 4, round 5, I really like Miesha Tate. She's got the cardio, even though she's a lot older now. She definitely has the cardio. She has the experience in these 5-round fights. And I think I'm also going to sprinkle some money on Miesha Tate in round 4 and round 5, which I'm getting at plus 2,500 and plus 3,300. So there's a lot of value there. And I'm getting Miesha Tate at minus 105. So I think that's a good bet right there.
Yeah, this is the main event I stayed away from on these 5 picks, but I definitely am leaning Miesha Tate. I've heard so many people on Ketlen Vieira this week, and I totally agree with your gas tank assessment, especially in the Yana Kunitskaya fight. I think she's also showed that going up against a competent, strong kind of grappler that she gasses hard. So I like that. I hadn't even thought about the finish in 4 or 5. I think that's a good play. Like I said,
that's some crazy money there. So I'm definitely gonna put a little bit of money on there. Like even if you put $10, you make 250. So it's like a It's a big bet right
Did you
there.
say it? Could you find the odds for 4 or 5?
Yeah, so round 4 is 2,500 plus 2,500, and round 5 is plus 3,300.
Damn. So
So
I'm definitely gonna sprinkle something on that. That could be your snipe of the week. Very nice.
definitely.
All right,
All
for
right, let's
me.
do the fourth pick.
Yep. For me, a little further down the card, a lady who's been fighting so many times in the last couple months with Lupita Godinez against Luma Lookboonmee. This is one I kind of didn't flip flop, but had some trouble going back and forth on. Lima Lookboonmee, Thai. I think she's the only UFC fighter from Thailand, which is so crazy because you think about Muay Thai and how sick and how nasty the Muay Thai fighters are from Thailand and stuff. But I digress. Luma Lookboonmee, you'd think she'd really, really struggle on the ground, but going back through her last couple of fights against the people who have tried to take her down, she's done a decent enough job, especially against the fence. She has such a good Muay Thai clinch that I think that helps a lot with her defenses, her takedown defense against the cage, right? Because a lot of people will work those takedowns where you press them against the cage. That forward pressure allows to get a body lock takedown or something like that. But Luma Lookboonmee has been good at that defense. But with all that being said, Lupita Godinez, I think that her wrestling from that position, if you're willing to get in the clinch with her, she might eat a couple shots, but I think ultimately she will get a strong double leg or some type of lift and dump takedown because she's so goddamn strong. You saw her go up in her last fight with Luana Carolina.
Oh my God.
On short notice.
So much bigger. She was so much bigger too.
And Godinez she's a small lady for her weight class already to go up. Which is part of the reason why it gives me more confidence in Loopy this fight is because she is against a frame that is similar to hers. Another shorter. She's not going to have to deal with that range in the striking department. While Luma will definitely have a edge in the striking department, Godinez is tenacious, dirty enough to get a couple of takedowns, mix it up on the feet. I think after you threaten the takedown, I think she can land some big hooks or something. I like Lupita Godinez as my fourth most confident pick. I'll take it as fourth most confident pick as minus 167.
So do you know why there's not many Thai fighters in the UFC right now?
Why?
Because they don't know how to fucking wrestle.
That's probably very true.
Because they can't wrestle. So that's why you have picked Lupita Godinez as your number 4, and so have I. So that was the first thing I looked at was Lupi's last fight. She attempted like 15 takedowns against Carolina, but Carolina's like 4 inches taller than she is. So and she got 2. She got 2 takedowns. So I was pretty impressed by the attempts she had on Carolina, knowing that she has a game plan against Luma, and she will also attempt takedowns against Luma because she knows that she's weaker on the striking side. Like Luma's elbows in the clinch are so nice, but I think she will take a couple of those shots and will take her down. And Lupita usually averages 4 takedowns per fight, so if she does that against Luma, I think she's a guaranteed winner there. She's just gonna keep her down. But I also think Lupita's grappling is really good. Her submissions are really nice. So I think I'm gonna put a good bit on Lupi money line at minus 160. And also try her out at plus 500 with a submission.
Beautiful. Yeah, and also to add to that last one, you're saying how Carolina had 4.5 inches on her in height. She also had 9 inches in reach. Yep. And which is crazy, right? When's the last time you heard of a 9-inch?
That's insane.
That's like a Stefan Struve.
And it was a pretty close fight, It wasn't like a far-off fight. It was a close fight.
Totally. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here, that it gives me more confidence in her striking. And yeah, just to have a lot more avenues to get it done. Love where your head's at, Neil. Love where your head's at, kid.
All right, we're on the same page. Let's go.
You want to do your third first?
Yeah, I can do my third. So my third pick for this card is going to be Adrian Yanez by KO TKO. So the last 3 fights, I've seen Yanez. I saw him first on the Contender Series, and he had a crazy knockout. And then he's had crazy knockouts ever since. Like, his striking is unbelievable. And he has some crazy power, too. And in his last fight, I'm not sure who he fought, but it was someone from the cartel with some crazy boxing. So he kind of struggled in round 1. But, round 2 was just all his way. He just,
was Randy
found
Costa?
Something inside of him.
Was it Randy Costa?
It was Randy Costa.
Yeah.
It was Randy Costa.
He's a beast. He's so good.
Yep. So good. His boxing is so good. So, I expected that in the first round. My expectation for that fight was inside the distance, the fight to finish, because any of them could have. But I'm so glad Yanez like took over round two, and he just took over so well. He has a crazy gas tank. And the only thing I'm a little worried about in this fight is that Grant has never been knocked out. So I think I might go towards Adrian Yanez inside distance, which means by knockout or by submission, because Yanez have a couple submissions under his belt, and Grant has lost by submission twice. So it's possible that he rocks him and then grabs a guillotine or something like that. So I don't want to risk my KO TKO. So I'm gonna take Adrian Yanez inside distance at -120.
Very nice. This is a fight higher up on my card, so I'm going to save my breakdown for
All right, that's fine.
one of my picks earlier up. So I'll go on to my 3. This is the Philly boy parlay, baby. That's
All right.
the Eagles coming to town on Sunday. Right after it, gonna have a big Philly weekend here. I got Pat Sabatini and Sean Brady in a parlay together at +180. The boys are back in town. The reason I'm not as confident or don't have this higher up on my number 2 or number 1 slot this parlay together is because I'm less confident in Pat Sabatini, but I still want to give the energy, give the vibes. I think he's still gonna win. And Sean Brady, again, I'm confident he's gonna win, but Michael Chase is a dude who's ragdolled some other grapplers before, so he's kind of
know.
Exactly. You kind of never know with him. Which is kind of the cool part of the UFC. Yeah, it's hard to bet with, but it's fun. It's good energy, cool. You never know what's going to happen with it. But Pat Sabatini's fighting a guy in Tucker Lutz who similar skill sets. Tucker Lutz, I think, is a lot more explosive on the feet and looks to hurt you on the feet more, but it's definitely has a good wrestling base and some power doubles. Haven't really seen him off his back too much. Pat Sabatini is a dude who I think is definitely going to have a striking disadvantage, but a grappling advantage. Not like the strongest, most explosive grappler, but it's just like a snake, just does jiu-jitsu so well and just slowly kind of constricts you. Isn't the flashiest, doesn't get like submission super quick, but he'll slowly technically kind of go through it all. So I like him to win by submission or decision because Tucker Lutz, like I said, has a good grappling base, and if a finish doesn't present itself, Sabatini's not going to go fish for anything crazy and lose position. And then Sean Brady, the reason I like Sean Brady is because I think how good and all the publicity Michael Chase has gotten over his years after the Ultimate Fighter and everything, I think Sean Brady will be at that same point, and I think he'll be doing what Michael Chase does, but better. And I think this is kind of a passing of the guard, not in a shitting on Michael Chase's sense, but in the sense of a generation kind of handing the torch of the role he fills as a fighter to the next generation, like that next kind of grappling based dude who'll throw a little, but yeah. So I'm gonna put the 2 Philly boys together. Fly Eagles, fly. Sabatini, Brady, +180. Let's go, baby.
All right. I like that parlay. Except that I'm not as confident as you said as you are on Sabatini. I was looking at Lutz and I was thinking like if Lutz is able to stall the takedowns, if is able to keep it on the feet, I think Lutz's hands are better. He's gotten better with his hands as well. Sabatini, if he takes him down, he's definitely going to keep him down. But that sub is a tough one though, because I think Lutz is a good grappler as well, so he's going to stay off the sub. And with the Chiesa and Brady fight, I thought about this fight for so freaking long, and I just didn't know which way to go, man. So every time I look at Chiesa now, it just reminds me of Paul Felder slowly becoming a commentator, and that's what's going on with Chiesa. He's just like, as you said, passing on the torch to the next guy and moving on to the next step in his life. So I kind of see what you're talking about there, but you never know with Chiesa. Like he can. The only bet I could think of for this fight was to put some money on Chiesa by submission, because I'm confident that Brady, if he takes him down, he'll keep him down, but Chiesa can just find something out of nowhere. He subbed out Beneil Dariush, so like those are some class black belts.
He ragdolled RDA also.
He ragdolled RDA. So that's just sometimes you can never tell with Michael Chiesa. So if I'm putting something on this fight, it's Chiesa by submission.
Moving on to my number 2 pick of the week, I got Faraz ZM over Terrence McKinney, and it hurt me to do it, but it's the way the logic played out as I watched these fights. Big fan of Terrence McKinney and his story. If you don't know about his story, he's a fucking psycho. I shouldn't say that. Was dealt the not the best hand. He was homeless, was drug addict. I think it was pronounced dead at a certain point, and has really rebounded. But all of his finishes are in the first round. When you look at his finishes, I think he maybe has 1 or 2 decisions where the guys have survived. But so many first round finishes. His 1 UFC fights first round finish. 3 before that are under 2 minutes first round. And then you go back 5 and then 6 fights in his career. You look at a Derek Minner and a Sean Woodson. 2 losses and are 2 guys who are in the UFC now. Sean Woodson just had that sick liver shot TKO over Anglin. And Derek Minner's a dude who me and Tanai gave Derek the nickname Derek the Dayman Minner because he looks exactly like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But whatever, he's a great dude. He's a sick fighter also, gets tons of first-round finishes. So I digress. With all this being said, he's got 1 fight in the UFC. Faraz ZM is a French striker who's been shown that he is genuinely a very good striker. Doesn't have the best other aspects to his game, but he's a very good kickboxer. Defensively, offensively, all of that. Terrence McKinney's a dude who's all about the explosive athleticism, isn't necessarily the most skilled or technical fighter, but is just so explosive, puts his balls to the wall and lets everything fly, and if you're not ready for it or don't have the skills to survive that, then it's lights out in an early night for you. So with all that being said, I think Faraz ZM does have what it takes to the technique and striking defense in a kickboxing background to survive Terrence McKinney in the first round. And I think those uncharted territories in the second and third round, where Faraz is very used to being, is going to be is going to make McKinney not very confident going into this round. So I'll put it that way. So I guess another spot for a great chance to live bet here if McKinney wins the first round but doesn't get him out of there, and is you got ZM as an underdog. I think that's a good hammer bet to take. So while it hurts me and McKinney is super dangerous in the first round, I like Faraz ZM to win this money line at -118 I'm getting, but this is one that I will surely be covering with Terrence McKinney TKO in the first round try to not lose any money.
So this fight is actually has my number 1 pick, so I'm going to save it for the next one. So I'm going to go to my number 2 pick, which is actually a parlay. I've got Luana Pinheiro and Talia Santos, just the money line for these 2 guys parlayed together at -150. So Pinheiro's last fight was kind of unfortunate because she got that illegal up kick and she got kind of dazed there. But I think previously in that fight, she was doing really well. She took down Marcos 5 times in round 1. So and she was kind of ragdolling her as well. And she has phenomenal judo. And the only problem with Pinheiro, I think, is her gas tank because she rarely goes into round 2. She usually finishes the fight in round 1 because her striking is unbelievable as well. But all I see is Hughes getting taken down 4 times by Luma Lukumi. So when you see Hughes getting taken down by Luma Lukumi, I kind of have all the confidence in Luana to kind of take her down in round 1 and maybe get that submission because Hughes has lost twice by submission. So I'm looking at Luana at a round 1 submission, but I'm gonna take her just the money line for this parlay because I think she might just have the gas tank to win round 2 and lose round 3 as well if it doesn't make it that far. So I've taken Luana for that reason. And Talia Santos, she's just so good. The last 2 fights she's fought, she beat Roxanne.
Brazilian
no one really knocked
testosterone.
down Roxanne. Oh my God, yeah, she has so much power and she's so dominant on the ground. And Calderwood's been taken down by her in her last 4 fights, and I just expect Santos to take her down and keep her down. I think she's going to finish her as well because I also see Calderwood fading. She's turning 36. She's not been doing too well. She has good volume. If it stays standing, I think Calderwood has a decent chance because of her volume. But the power, Santos is just going to land the hardest shots and rock her and take her down and keep her down, if not finish her. So I've parlayed those together for a -150 right there.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the Joanne Calderwood and Molly McCann like in my head fill that kind of Scouser role, that Scotland Scouser role
Yep.
of they're kind of just they're brawly, they show tons of heart, but I don't think
But they're so hittable.
they're
They're
so
so
hittable,
hittable,
and I
and
don't
like,
think they'll ever be like
yeah,
the at the tops of their division. So I love that.
for sure.
I'll parlay that into my number one pick here, which is Tyler Santos and Adrian Yanez, two people you were on, but I got them. That's how I got
Yes,
over
sir.
Santos's money line there, because I was trying to figure out how to get her and get those odds down a little bit for me. And Adrian Yanez was the other guy that was in the same boat for me, where I was both really confident on both of them, but the odds weren't working out for me. So those two together come into minus 143. Still not the plus odds you want to look for, but close enough to even money that I'm confident to put a couple units on that to make a decent enough profit. Tyler Santos, like you were saying, I go back to that Brazilian testosterone that some of these women's MMA fighters from Brazil just seem to have. Ketlin Vieira is another one who's I think has that same trait, but Santos just a beast on the feet, beast on the ground. Calderwood's, like I said, you said she very hittable. I think she's one of the people that will beat ladies that don't come in with that explosive, get in your face type energy. I think she wilts not because of her heart, but because of her skills and gas tank. So I love that, and I want to, like I said, cut those odds with the Adrian Yanez, Davey Grant, another dude, great dude. I love listening to him, but I don't think he's more of like a counter kind of guy. Adrian Yanez has just showed you're not gonna put his lights out. He's got that Latina Mexican chin. And has so many more victories, leg kicks. He's on a 3-fight finishing streak. Cinder blocks in his hand and showed he can overcome adversity. And Davey Grant, I think of as like a long, rangy guy, but Yanez is an inch taller and they have an even reach. So I'm leaning Yanez so hard in this. So slap those two together. Minus 143 parlay for my number one pick of the night. Definitely one I'm confident. The two fights that I'm the most confident that they will win.
Nice. I like that one. I might take that as well. Let's see. All right, going into my number one pick. So I actually have gone the other way. I've gone with Terrence McKinney. So I was watching some film on ZM against Mandramini and Malarkey. And yeah, he stands on the outside. Well, he just like his volume is good, his power is not. Like he's got good box, like he's got good striking, but I think McKinney, if he's able to get his hands on him, McKinney's wrestled since high school. He wrestled in college. I think he will have that gas tank because of that experience. I just think even though he hasn't been in those round three fights, he will have that gas tank to make it through round two. And I just think if ZM's just gonna get overwhelmed by the power of McKinney. Like as we saw, Rothwell just got rocked in the first second. Like I was so confident that fight wasn't going to finish because if that didn't work out for him, he was going to be gassed. But with McKinney, I think he's going to go all out in round one. Definitely be a little slower in round two. But if he gets him down in round two, he has round one and round two. So McKinney at minus 110 is a great bet. I think ZM's been, when I was watching the fight, ZM got taken down five to six times by Malarkey. I thought Malarkey actually won that fight. And even against Vandramini, he got taken down twice. And these guys aren't real like Malarkey obviously is a wrestler. But I think Terrence McKinney has so much more wrestling experience here that if he takes him down, he could get that submission because he has that on his record. So I might sprinkle some on Terrence McKinney with a submission at plus 600 as well. So minus 110 on the money line and plus 600 on the submission for Terrence McKinney.
I just haven't seen any of those wrestling chops in this last bunch of
I know.
fights.
I just think it's just going to be too much for ZM in round one. If it makes it to round two, he might. I think because of that experience in the past, he might have the gas tank for round two. We never know because he's never been there.
Yep.
So
I think
he'll have the gas tank. That's all.
If I don't throw ZM in any parlays, I think this might be one like you were saying. I might just slap my first round McKinney, and then if that doesn't pan out, then I slap the live bet on ZM after losing the first round.
On ZM. Yeah,
I like
that
it.
could be it.
I think that's the winning strategy. I like it. I think I
And
got some. You got.
we got some good picks, man. But what I was gonna say is that last week too in the Rothwell fight, I put all my money. I put over like $150 on that fight not to go the distance. So like, I was just like, I'm gonna make sure because when you see who did he fight? De Lima in round one. He's just so
Just
wild. And I see the same thing with McKinney, and I don't think Zam's gonna make it out.
All right, we're keeping this money train rolling. If you're still with us, drop us a like, subscribe, maybe a comment if you think one of our bets were stupid and lost you some money, or if we won you some money last weekend. All publicity is good publicity. Until next week, we got Neel Shaah. I'm Ian Walsh, keeping this gravy train rolling, making some money for everyone.